I spent 2 full years working toward a single promotion. A colleague of mine spent exactly 2 weeks making sure I wouldn't get it. We both worked in marketing for a mid-sized retail company. It was a good team with decent pay, but we had a single senior manager role that had sat vacant for 8 months. The race came down to 2 people, me and a colleague named Claire. I focused on producing results. Claire focused on building relationships. On paper, we were equal candidates. We had the same tenure at the company and brought in similar metrics on our accounts. I even thought we got along well, but focusing strictly on the work meant I missed the political games happening in the background. Performance results mean very little when a colleague is busy shaping the perception of your character behind closed doors. The first signs appeared 3 weeks before the decision. My manager mentioned he'd heard I was struggling with a major account, the Henderson account, which was actually one of my strongest. A week later, a director brought up my difficulty working independently. Neither critique had any basis in my actual performance. A source on another team eventually explained why. Claire had been scheduling private one-on-one coffees with every senior stakeholder involved in the promotion. This graph illustrates her approach. She didn't use obvious lies. She asked concerned questions, like, "Do you think she's ready for the pressure?" By planting these seeds of doubt with decision-makers, she effectively isolated my reputation from my results. The strategy worked. Claire got the promotion. I found out through a standard calendar invite for an announcement meeting. I sat through it, congratulated her, and went home that evening to plan my next move. I didn't go to HR, and I didn't confront her. Complaining about a toxic coworker rarely changes the outcome. My goal was to remove the ambiguity Claire had used against me, turning my work into something so visible and verifiable that it couldn't be misrepresented again. I began a 3-part counter strategy. First, I started a private log of every project, every metric, and every piece of positive feedback I received, complete with dates and names. Step 2 was access. I needed the layers above Claire to see my work firsthand. I bypassed her authority by building direct relationships with her directors. I presented raw data directly to them, ensuring my output wasn't filtered through Claire's concerns. Corporate leverage comes from making your competence undeniable to your manager's bosses. The final step was to do nothing to stop her. I did my job, hit my targets, and simply let Claire manage the team. Managing up relies on charm and managing perceptions. However, managing a team requires operational knowledge and the ability to solve problems. Claire was talented at the former, but she lacked the skills for the latter. Manipulation might help someone secure a job, but it doesn't help them do the job. Answering team questions and meeting complex timelines requires a level of detail social engineering can't provide. A promotion based on a false narrative puts the person in a spotlight they aren't equipped to handle. In a high-pressure role, that spotlight eventually exposes a lack of actual leadership skill. Within 6 months, the department was slipping. Claire's direct reports began coming to me with technical questions she couldn't answer. Projects were delayed and timelines were missed. By month 8, the data was too loud to ignore. The directors I had been working with started asking their own questions about why the department's performance was trending downward, despite Claire's polished updates. At month 10, the company announced a restructure. Claire's role was officially eliminated. In many companies, a reorganization is the formal way executives correct a hiring or promotion mistake without having to admit they were misled. The restructure created a new, more senior position that reported directly to the director I had spent the year working with. Because I had already established a track record of results through my bypass strategy, the director offered me the role immediately. No interview was necessary. The data had already made the case for me. I've been in that position for over a year now. Claire left the company shortly after the restructure to join a smaller firm. Expending all your energy tearing others down leaves you with no foundation for your own growth. This was the inevitable result of manipulation meeting the reality of the work. If a colleague has ever gone behind your back to take what was yours, tell me what happened in the comments. I read every story.